Did you know that, according to the National Institute on Aging NIH, more than 60% of men over the age of 60 experience issues related to vitality and urinary function? Yet only about 1 in 5 truly understand the root causes. If you have recently started to notice changes in your body, such as restless sleep, easy fatigue, a gradual loss of sensation, or the need to wake up several times during the night to use the bathroom, this is not just about aging. This is your body's way of sending a distress signal, and if you do not pay attention, the consequences may last for years. In today's video, I will share 3 habits that may seem harmless, but are quietly draining your energy and disrupting your hormonal balance after the age of 60. Along with that, I will introduce science-backed solutions that are simple, natural, and can be done right at home to help you restore balance without the need for medication. If you are over 60, please watch this video until the end. It may completely change how you care for your health each day. Which country are you watching from? Please leave a comment below. Are you going through the same experience? Feel free to share with me. I read every single message from you. The first habit that makes you weaker over time. There is something rarely told to men over 60. Private activity, when understood correctly, can help the body stay flexible, reduce mental stress, improve blood circulation, and support better prostate function. But on the other hand, if done the wrong way, it quietly becomes a habit that weakens your energy, disrupts your hormonal system, and slowly takes away your natural sensitivity. What you need to understand is not about whether you should or should not do it, but rather how you are doing it each day, according to Dr. Michael Irwig, an endocrinologist at George Washington University. Every repeated behavior is recorded by the brain and turned into a reflex. This is called neuroplasticity, which means the brain learns from what you do regularly, and with private habits, you are directly reprogramming how your body responds to emotions, heart rate, and hormone activity. One of the most common problems older men face is rushing. Due to concerns about being interrupted or because of long-standing habits formed years ago, many tend to do everything quickly, just to get it over with. This makes the brain learn that every time there is a trigger, the body must react fast and finish quickly. Over time, you lose emotional control, lose patience, and your hormone system becomes unbalanced. As a result, your vitality drops, your sleep becomes shallow, and you feel a sense of fatigue in the pelvic area afterward. Many people entering this stage believe their body is simply getting weaker because of age. But the real issue lies in how they have unknowingly trained themselves. Once you get used to reacting quickly, your body can no longer stay steady when endurance is needed. Even worse, the anxiety about performance increases stress hormones like cortisol, which is one of the top reasons your hormonal function becomes suppressed. This creates a loop many people are stuck in. You rush, lose control, feel anxious, and then rush even more out of fear of failure. And so your energy keeps declining over time. The solution to breaking this cycle does not come from medication, but from changing your mindset. See it as a time to reconnect with your body, where you truly listen to your emotional rhythm instead of just reacting by habit. A quiet, undisturbed space will help your mind relax. The goal is no longer to finish, but to feel. When you notice your sensations building up, pause it, take a deep breath, let the intensity ease down before continuing. Repeating this will help you train your body to manage its natural rhythm and reflexes. Just like practicing steady breathing to calm your heart rate, this approach helps your autonomic nervous system regain balance. When you take charge of this process, you will clearly feel stronger, more confident, and more in control of your mental state after each moment of relaxation. It is not just a personal habit, it is an emotional form of meditation made for older men. And once you master your reflexes, You will no longer be caught in a cycle of anxiety or insecurity. If you ever thought you were the only one going through this, let me share this honestly. There are millions of others just like you. And the difference lies in this: they choose to start changing today. In the next part, I will share another factor that is just as dangerous. It is something that feeds your brain the wrong way every day, causing you to lose touch with real sensations and become more dependent on artificial stimulation. The second habit overstimulating visual content is fast food for the brain. There is another factor that many people unknowingly fall into, which is using overly stimulating visuals as part of their personal relaxation routine. At first glance, it may seem harmless, but in reality, this is one of the most common causes of neurological and physiological imbalance in older men. Imagine this: if you eat fried, greasy, sugary food every day, your first reaction will likely be that it tastes great. It is exciting and it feels satisfying. But after a short time, you begin to feel bloated, sluggish, have poor sleep, and experience physical fatigue. That is because you are flooding your body with flavor stimulants without actually providing real nourishment. Overstimulating visuals work in the same way for the brain. According to research from the National Institute on Aging and the National Institute of Neurological Disorders, when you are frequently exposed to artificially intense imagery, your brain releases a large amount of dopamine, a neurotransmitter that creates excitement. The issue is that when dopamine levels spike too high and too often, your brain gradually loses its natural sensitivity. This is known as neural desensitization or dopamine saturation. In other words, you begin to need more intense stimulation to feel the same as before. This leads to a serious consequence. Ordinary real-life situations become dull and no longer activate the brain's natural response when you are in a quiet, familiar space with your long-term partner. Natural stimulation no longer feels the same. Your brain has adapted to sharp visuals, intense angles, loud sounds, and unrealistic scripts. It is like comparing a warm, home-cooked family meal to a fast food combo loaded with salt, sugar, oil, and additives. While fast food fills you temporarily but lacks nourishment, a traditional meal may be simple but is healthy and supports long-term wellness. Many urologists in the United States call this the syndrome of reality, desensitization caused by excessive visual input. And what is concerning is that this syndrome is becoming more common in men over 60 when the body is already going through hormonal changes, reduced recovery ability, and slower biological rhythms. Once the brain becomes accustomed to artificial stimulation, it responds more slowly to normal everyday experiences and may even lose the ability to feel. This affects not only your physiological health, but also your emotions, mood, ability to connect with loved ones, and sleep quality. So what is the solution? It is simple, but it requires commitment. You need to begin by taking a break from overly stimulating visuals for a period of 7 to 14 days. This is called the neurological reset phase, which helps the brain gradually return to normal sensitivity. Instead of visual input, try gentle sounds, instrumental music, or emotionally engaging books. Some people turn to guided audio meditations that help awaken imagination and promote deep relaxation without relying on visuals. In addition, you can try writing down positive memories from your past or visualizing moments that made you feel loved and connected. This is an effective way to reawaken emotional responses from within, without depending on external triggers. Experts at Harvard University recommend emotional novels or short stories with humanistic themes to stimulate imagination. That is because when you create mental images on your own, the brain activates areas related to emotion, memory, and empathy, forming deeper connections than simply receiving pre-made visual content. Most importantly, you need to understand that the brain after age 60 needs to be nourished with real, warm, human experiences. Overproduced visuals may feel exciting at first, but over time, they dull your emotions and reduce your vitality A study published in the Journal of Urology found that people who restricted exposure to stimulating imagery for 30 days experienced significant improvements in sleep, focus, hormone levels, and satisfaction with everyday life. This is clear evidence that the brain can recover if given the right time and environment. Consider this process as a form of mental detox. You are removing a mental stimulant and replacing it with healthier emotional nutrition, just like quitting sugar helps you taste the natural sweetness in fruit. Again, quitting intense visuals helps you reconnect with the subtle beauty of real life. And here is what you must remember: no one else can do this for you. Change begins with daily choices. If you want to feel healthier and more connected to yourself and your loved ones, starting today is entirely possible. In the next part, I will share the final and most common mistake, the routine of self-care that is so repetitive it causes your body to lose its natural response. And you might be surprised to learn that just a few small changes can make a big difference. The third habit, repeating one way, causes the body to lose sensation. If the first two mistakes are about speed and how the brain is fed by images, then the third mistake comes from rigid repetition. You may have never thought about this, but always doing things the same way, in the same position, with the same approach for years, is the reason your body gradually loses its ability to sense and respond. This happens silently, but the consequences directly affect physiological health in older age. According to Dr. Abraham Morgentaler, an expert in endocrinology and urology at Harvard University, the male nervous system works much like a musical instrument. If you keep plucking only one string for a long time, the other strings slowly lose their vibration and no longer respond sharply. The human body works in the same way. When you repeat the same kind of stimulation, in the same place, in the same posture, with the same touch, the brain and nervous system register that as the only type of input it needs to respond to. Over time, the sensory area becomes entirely dependent on that one pattern. And when you try something different, your body no longer feels anything. This is called desensitization due to monotony. It not only dulls sensitivity, but also disrupts your ability to harmonize with real-life experiences, which are always dynamic and changing. A simple example is this: if you eat the same dish with the same flavor and the same seasoning for many years, your taste buds get lazy. When you try a different milder dish, it seems bland, not enough to trigger interest. But the issue is not the new food, it is how you have retrained your senses. With physiological health, this is even more sensitive and deeply impactful. Many men over 60 start to feel that their body's reactions are not as sharp as before. Emotions are unclear. The sense of connection is weakened, and yet they have no idea that the cause lies in years of repetitive habits. Your body, even in aging, still has the ability to recover if it is activated the right way. But to do that, you need to break the pattern and reintroduce the sense of exploration to your nervous system. Just like waking up sleepy muscles with new exercises, you can also reawaken your sensory system by changing how you take care of yourself. The first solution is to switch hands. If you are used to using your dominant hand, try using the other one. This may sound simple, but it actually creates new activation in the brain. When the left hand performs an action that has always been done by the right, the nervous system is forced to focus, reconnect, and rebuild sensory pathways. At first, it might feel unfamiliar, but that is a good sign that your brain is learning again. The next step is to use gentle moisturizer or natural lubricant. Many people do not realize that applying too much pressure, too roughly, and without moisture over a long time makes the sensory area become numb. When you add smoothness and adjust pressure, you give your body a chance to relearn softer, more familiar types of touch. Another thing you can change is position. If you have always used one posture, such as lying face down, try sitting, lying on your back, or even standing. Each position engages different muscle groups and nerve areas, helping you diversify the experience. This shift refreshes how your brain processes stimulation. It is like walking through the same alley every day until it becomes boring. But when you switch to a new path, you pay attention again, adjust your steps, and your brain reactivates spatial awareness, sensory processing, and reflexes. The most important thing is not to pressure yourself to feel results immediately. Let everything happen gently and naturally. The goal is not to produce an outcome, but to expand the range your nervous system can perceive every time you try something new, even a small change. You are telling your brain that this body is still alive, still sensing, and still ready to learn. That is the most remarkable aspect of male physiology, the ability to adapt and recover at any age as long as there is proper care. A study published in the American Journal of Geriatrics found that men over 65 who actively diversified their self-care routines had more stable hormone levels, less anxiety, and deeper sleep compared to those who had not changed their habits in 10 years. This shows that sensation is something that can be retrained and restored. It is not something permanently lost. The question is whether you are willing to open up to your own body. Remember, your body is a loyal companion. It only responds to what you teach it. If you teach it through rushing, repetition, roughness, and impatience, it will learn to shut down. But if you teach it through gentleness, curiosity, variety, and respect, it will respond with surprisingly positive signals. When you can feel even the smallest changes in how you care for yourself, you will find not only renewed vitality, but also regained confidence, liveliness, and a deeper connection to yourself. In the next part, I will share a small but practical tip how to use private time to overcome a challenge many older men face when using a common protective tool that often causes discomfort and loss of confidence. After everything we have shared, you may now realize that these 3 seemingly small habits have a major impact on vitality and overall health. After the age of 60, they are the tendency to rush while taking care of yourself, the reliance on overly stimulating visuals, and the long-term monotony that causes your body to lose its natural ability to sense. These habits do not just affect your hormones, they also influence your sleep, mood, recovery ability, and daily quality of life. The good news is that you do not need to do anything drastic to change. By adjusting these 3 habits, little by little, you can make a powerful shift in your health. Practicing patience, learning to reconnect with your natural senses, and diversifying your self-care routines will help awaken your nervous system, stabilize your physiological hormones, and help you feel more confident each day. Good health does not come from medication or luck. It comes from self-awareness and consistent care. Starting today, you can simply turn off the screen, take a deep breath, and listen to what your body truly needs. By changing just one small habit each day, you will begin to feel a healthier, more energetic version of yourself. If you found today's message helpful, please subscribe to the channel so you do not miss future videos. And how do you take care of your health each day? Share in the comments below so we can all learn and grow together.